What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Bricks and Toys. And in today's episode, it is all about Iron Man. And man, I have waited for this day for a long time. You see, Lego likes to do everything with Star Wars and then maybe move it over into Marvel. And some things, I guess, kind of goes with the superheroes first and then moves its way into the Star Wars universe. What I'm trying to get at with this statement is we have been building buildable characters in Star Wars for so freaking long. And in the meantime, with superheroes, we're just building appendages, hands, claws, the gauntlet, helmets, mask. We're not building actual figures. And I always found that really interesting. If you guys can see in the background of my video, we have Chewbacca, we have Yoda, we have all these characters. And when it comes to Marvel, what do we keep on getting? We keep on getting Groot. And I guess we did get Rocket a couple years ago, so I'll give it a break there. But we've gotten like 3 or 4 Groots at this point. But what about the other guys? And today's the day, guys. It's finally here, and we're going to talk all about this today. It's so cool. One of the reasons that this is so epic to me is before I even knew about the Avengers and Marvel superheroes and all of that, there was this movie with this struggling drug addict actor trying to turn his act around called Iron Man back in 2008 when I was only 17 years old. And it was such a damn good movie. The character really fit in with the narrative of the actor, and then they complemented each other, and it made such a really awesome movie. And I didn't understand Marvel like I do now back then, but that's what it took for me to get into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. And so becoming a Lego collector and going about and doing all of the things that I've done and collecting all of the sets that I've collected, one of the sets that I had to go back in time to collect was the 2020 helmet. And this helmet was the only representation I had of Iron Man until today. Yeah, I could have gotten the Infinity hand or whatever it was, because I think they made one from the hand of Iron Man and the glove of Thanos, but not exactly sure there. But who wants a damn hand? We want to see Hot Rod Red and Gold Iron Man. And for a number of years, this has been the star Marvel Iron Man set in my collection. And today, we finally get to upgrade from this guy to this, and I am just so excited. Now, let's start talking about this set. So this set here does cost you $129.99 here in the US. As of filming this, it is sadly on back order already. I was not the only one to really want this set. A lot of people wanted it too, and you can clearly see why. It is set number 76344 with 1,297 pieces, and it is an 18 and older set. Up here at the top of the box, we do have the designation of the Infinity Saga, which Iron Man is a part of. Obviously, it's why it's there. We have the logo with Iron Man, with the core of his chest as the O. Pretty awesome. And then we have the Mark III Collector's Edition name right there. And when you look at that and you think about it, Mark III Collector's Edition, is this going to be a thing of Collector's Edition Marvel sets now? Like, are we going to get buildable characters of, say, Wolverine maybe? Thor? There's just so many cool directions that this can go. It's just a random thought. Black Widow. That would be interesting, right? Anyway, the Mark III aspect of this suit is what is the most coolest thing about it. There's so many fans of the franchise are going to go and say the suits from Iron Man 2 are this, and the suits from 3 is this, or the ones from the Avengers movies, and the Hulkbuster and people are going to have their opinions about what suit is the best suit. And me, I'm an originalist. I like the original. I like to see where it started. I don't really care too much about the evolutions. I like where it started. And if you watch the 2008 movie Iron Man, there's the Mark 1, which he builds in the cave. And then there's the Mark 2, which kind of became Rhodey's suit in Iron Man 2, I believe. But that was more of like the test flight suit. And then there's the Mark III, of where he says, let's get it hot rod red, and then he does the gold. And this is the core image of Iron Man that we are used to seeing for the rest of the franchise, with, different tweaks for the different marks of the suits and all of that. But this is the one that really, of where it all comes together, and it's just that really epic moment in the movie. And it's hard to believe that that's already been 18 years ago, but it's still a classic movie. If you guys have never seen Iron Man from 18 years ago in 2008, definitely check that movie out. It is great. But now getting back into the box and looking at the box, of course it's 18 and older style packaging, black box, greebled bottom. I like how the greebled bottom is in that same shade of red as Iron Man. Iron Man is on the box. He is doing the pose where he can, basically do the pulse blast or whatever you want to call it with the palm of his hand, which is really cool. So that is an excellent pose. He is on a base, so you won't be able to really take him off and pose him all that much, but I don't think I really would want to do that with a model like this, so definitely not a complaint there at all. And him having a base is just a 10 out of 10 finishing touch. You guys have known on my other Star Wars figure building sets, I've been kind of complaining at the lack thereof a base, so it is nice to get into the Marvel set with a base. Just looking at the figure and knowing from other reviews that I've watched already about this set, there is going to be no stickers, I believe, with this set, so everything you see on here is printed. Finishing off with the box, Lego logo, Marvel logo, and it does look like we can build this with 1 to 4 people and make it a community effort with friends, which is really cool. It's one little minor detail that's left out of the set is maybe the option to do like a light up brick or some new element of where we can light up the arc reactor for his chest. That would be really cool. But you know what? I'm not going to fault it. I'm just so thankful that the model exists to even begin with. It's just to not see that center element light up is kind of like I feel like we could have done something in 2026 about that. But you know what? One day at a time, guys. One day at a time. Moving to this side of the box, we just have a more zoomed in sectional shot of the Mark III Iron Man with the logos. Moving over here to this side of the box, we have our country of origin and our do not eat it, and the set name in different languages. Up here at the top of the box, we do get a little image of the minifigure, which is the Mark III minifigure with a 1-to-1 of that chest element that he has, which I believe is going to be likely a 2x2 element tile. And then on the bottom of the box here, we can see in a different language the build with 4 people, recycling information, lego.com, Lego app information, Legal Eagle, barcode, and all of that good stuff. Then coming over here to the back of the box, where we get the meat and potatoes of the set, we can see him posed now with a different pose with his arms. So right there we can see that the head might move and the arms will definitely move, because now he's no longer like this, but now he's like this. So we are going to have some posability with the arms, kind of like with our K2SO droid. Now, moving over into our pictures down here, we have a picture of the Mark III to reference the set off of. I think it's a good match. And then we have another picture of the arc reactor going into the chest. It looks like it is made to come in and out, which would tie in with the movie, so that is great. And then our last little thing up here is going to be the dimensions of the set, which is where we get our $130 price tag of, because he is going to be over a foot tall at 15 inches and 8.5 inches in width. And I believe the majority of that width is the base, not really his hands sectioned out from the photo. You can see he was from here to the base, but I just think that's going to be a perfect size for any collector. I may need to find a 15-foot section of the shelf to put him on, but more than likely he's going to be sitting main center display in my living room in place of where I used to have my Death Star. Now let's open up this box. Let's see what we have in terms of this build, bags, all of that, and let's find out if we are permanently transitioning into paper bags or if we're back to plastic now that we're out of the holiday season. And if you guys don't know what I'm really referencing, back in 2022, they were putting notes inside of Lego sets saying we're going sustainable, we're going to paper packaging. 2023 didn't really yield anything. 2024, we started seeing it pop up in Europe. 2025, it continued to be all in Europe. And then for our Christmas build, which was our buildable Santa, I got paper bags all the way through for the first time. I did get half paper bags with the Neuschwanstein Castle. The big bags were plastic, the little bags were paper. And now let's see if that continues by getting this box open. And this is not going to have any tape. It's going to be 2 punch tabs down here at the bottom. More than likely, we can just punch one and open it up the rest of the way. And there we go. And that gives you guys the first look into the box. What do we see? We're back to plastic bags. So the Santa Claus was just a fluke. But you know what? It was a pretty cool experience nonetheless. Every single year, I like to start off in January wondering, paper or plastic, where are we going with things? But actually, looking at this, like with the Neuschwanstein Castle, we are actually 50-50. You guys can see the paper bags within the plastic. So we're getting closer and closer to a more sustainable Lego packaging future. But for now, we're still transitioning. It's just crazy. 2022, 4 years. Basically 3.5. We started this and we're still working on it. It just takes companies such a long time to implement things. So we do have 1,297 pieces. I'm going to say that translates into about 13 bags. Let's go ahead, let's count these bags out and let's see if it is about 13 bags. So here we have bags 9, 10, and 11. So we have 11 bags total, with no extra parts so far, no stickers like I already said, so only missed it by 2 bags, no big deal. We do have our book, and we do have another change with the packaging of this set. The book is now a satin finish, so when you touch it, it kind of has a grainy feel on it. That's different for the new year. I'm used to a glossy book that's smooth, so not sure what's up with that. But that is a little difference into the new year. It does look like the book is in a vertical, not a horizontal display. And when we go into the book, where we have an 18 and older set, so we are going to have things about Iron Man and the set and all of that. But it is seeming a little bit short-lived, because by page number 9, we are starting off with our minifigure on bag number 1 and getting the set built. Now, to the back of the book, our last page of the build is actually on 176. But if we actually go to 175, we finish the build with the arc reactor in his chest at step 430. So we have 430 steps, 175 pages to get her done, 11 bags total. And with that, guys, that wraps up this first half of the video. Now, I get to take a couple days, enjoy this one. I am so excited for the final product. But for you guys get to see the final product right now with the review. Okay, well, it's already time for the review. Only took until the next night to get this thing built, and that's with a full busy work schedule and life schedule. So right there, the build quality is actually pretty freaking simple to get done for being nearly 1,300 pieces. Our model is looking really freaking great in that hot rod red with that lacquer gold finish. And first things first, we should honestly talk about this minifigure, and then we'll get into the entire model up after that. So just starting off with the minifigure really quick, it is what would appear to be a pretty normal minifigure of Iron Man, but upon closer look, we can see we have back torso print, we actually have side arm printing, we have front leg print down to the toes, front torso print, and the traditional helmet print. Now the helmet does open up just by flicking it open, and there we can see Tony Stark's face. So we do get the traditional headpiece with the blue glasses on the back of the head, but we are supposed to run this face, and there is no hairpiece to complement this minifigure. So starting off with the base of the set, we do have the printed 2x6 plate that says Lego Marvel Iron Man Mark III, and then we go into a black and light bluish gray plated base, which we would expect, with plenty of studs to put your minifigure wherever you want, so that is all really good. Now, there is no leg posability with this set. The legs are how they are, and you can't move them. And that means when you build the set, the feet are actually built into the stand, like we see with some Star Wars buildable figurines. And then you attach the model with the two legs and the torso onto those 2 feet, and then you finish it off with some tiling techniques with the curves. Now, talking about the curves and all of that, it is pretty much the pieces that you would expect. There is a inner core of system bricks that run throughout the legs with plates, with all these round tiles, lacquer gold pieces, and all of that attached on top. And overall, I think all of the techniques and everything it takes to make this actually adds a lot of detail and greebling to the legs, and it almost looks real like the actual Iron Man does. Sometimes Lego can really capture the mechanical essence of a build, and with this, just starting off with the legs alone, we definitely have that. Going up into the lower part of the torso of the set, we actually have our first 2 printed pieces, one on this side, and then we spin it over here, and another one over here. So that makes 3 printed pieces at this particular point. On this lower piece here, we just have our traditional curves, quarter round elements, angled round elements, all of that. And then we have these nice little fender pieces right here to really round out these leg joints and make it look really nice. We do have some exposed studs, reminding you that this is Lego, and I find it really interesting that they put 2 studs right here. And we're going to talk more about how that can be misconstrued in our wrap-up segment. Going into his torso, we have the arc reactor in the chest that just sticks out. I like how it's built as a separate unit, so once it's in, and it's kind of hard to get it back out, so I will not be pulling it out. But I do like how it is built as its own unit, and that really complements the Mark III suit, as the arc reactor is meant to come out of his chest and back in, so that is really unique. And I like the metallic blue with the white, and that's what kind of makes it look like it's actually lit up without it being lit up, is the choice of metallic blue to make that arc reactor. The upper torso is made up of all of these angled round pieces that we would traditionally expect with our quarter round flat tiles and all of that. And this centerpiece here that we've seen on some vehicle builds, and of course these 1x4 curves, just a lot of traditional part usage to make it, but it is put in here in a unique way where there is a lot of hinges and things like that to get the angles just right. And like I've said with the legs, it carries into the body. The way that it all has to be done to be built like this really makes it look like the mechanical suit is supposed to look, and I think that is really incredible. Also, going into the armpits of the set, we can see all the nice greebling and the gaps and the spaces. I think that looks really nice, and that's on both sides. Moving up into the shoulders, we can see more of those hinge mechanisms and how that all works. Like, this is a separate piece on a hinge, then this piece hinges right as you can see it. And then same thing with this. This is on its own hinge, and then of course own hinge, that hinges onto that. Really nice how all of that is done. And then we can go into the arms, and here we can see that the arms do have these nice little shields that you build with a few pieces to attach. And we do have one little joint hidden into there. And then the arms do move in that direction, and they also move in that direction, and then the hands do move as well. So there is some movability in the arms, unlike the legs. Now, going on to this side of the arm, everything is really nicely finished, minus this little plate right here. More lacquer gold, more angled pieces, more slopes, a lot of tiles, and then we get into our next printed piece, which is going to be on the hand. The angles of the arms are actually different, but the overall piece usage on the arms are the same. So if you do put his hand down, just like that, and turn him sideways, you see that the slope of this arm, which does not move, is a little bit more straight out, or this one is at more of a hard angle. It does move like that, but it does not move without going from the shoulder joint. So when you are building this set, you are going to notice that, and it is going to kind of throw you off a little bit. We do have another printed piece right there, which matches this side. Putting his hand back up in that famous pose, we then go onto the head. And I honestly thought there would be more pieces within the head. I was really surprised to get to bag 11, and we're finishing building the hands, the shoulders, and the head in that one bag. I was really surprised to see that because, like I said, I would have expected more pieces. But with the pieces that you do get, we do get a really nice head. And then we get 2 more printed pieces on each side. But looking at the head, we can see we have slopes to make the white in the eyes. We actually can move the lower jaw piece a little bit, even though you're not supposed to. More lacquer gold, more of these angled slopes and all of that, and quarter round tiles. But the really cool thing about his head is it does move a little bit, not too much. So we do have head movability, arm movability, and no leg movability. Overall, this model is so perfect for the adult collector. There's really not much more to say other than let's come out and share some final thoughts about it and wrap up this video. So to start off this wrap-up segment, I'm just going to get the controversial stuff right out of the way, and let's just get into it. The cost of this set. I personally have zero, and I mean zero, complaints with the cost of this set. If we are paying $70 per helmet on average, double your money, $130, and get this model. When we have Star Wars models that are lining up that are $130 for Wicket versus this, I mean, the math kind of does itself. You could have a study, semi-finished play Wicket made for kids, or you can have this adult Marvel model. So the price, to me, is going 10 out of 10 in the right direction with the licensing, with the prints, the lacquer gold, all of that. The detailed minifigure. It takes a lot to manufacture this set, and the price is non-reflective of that for once with Lego. So Lego's doing us a huge favor with the price of this set. So with the pricing out of the way, the next thing that I want to talk about with this set is a set that I kind of forgot to mention at the very beginning of this video, and that is the Hulkbuster. The Hulkbuster was a set that, as I was coming into Lego, I believe it was going out, and it was going out because they kind of overshot it. It was like an over $500 set, and not a lot of people bought it. Not a lot of people enjoyed it. It was just way too large and way too much. I kind of looked it up before getting into this segment of the video, just to bring it up to you guys that, you know, Lego did make a mistake with that set, but I do want to say that they did correct it with this. Size doesn't always matter. It's more of how much detail you can pack in and how much. And more or less what I'm trying to say is, for a second Iron Man model, because for some reason I forgot about the first one with the Hulkbuster, I don't think that they could have done a better job. Now, there is another Iron Man model technically that's even smaller than this one, but we don't need to keep going down the family tree of Iron Man models. They nailed it with this guy. Another really cool thing about this kit is I did want to talk about on the back of the book. It just has that simple quote on the back. I don't know how I didn't notice this before until I finished building the set. It just says, "I am Iron Man." That is, to me, a really cool quote, as that's kind of when Tony Stark accepts everything, takes it in for what it is, and declares, "I am Iron Man." And that's a really cool part of the movie, and that's just really cool that they kind of include it. So do I have any complaints with this set? to a lot of review people online, they're going to complain about the lack of mobility within the legs or the fact that you can't take it off of the stand. But to me, none of that actually matters. I don't think I would want to flex it around any more than just what they actually give you with this model. The head, the arms, and that's it. I just think that is perfect. You also have the flexibility, I believe, yes, to turn the torso a little bit. So that is kind of a forgotten flex. So that is possible if you want to flex it. You know, giving him a little bit of a twist like that with that original, with his hand, perfect. There is a little bit of a weird thing that I noticed, and I don't know why they overlooked this, but there should have been a tiled element right here in that one region, because people are sick, people are gross. You're going to have that one drunk friend come over, and they're going to get into your pieces of Lego, and they're going to stick things there, and it's going to make you go, well, that's just wrong. For instance, we have Mini Iron Man. You can easily stick him there. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that up to you guys to fill in the blanks of what you think is going on there. They should have put a tile piece on that. I don't know why I noticed it, and so far no one else has, but maybe that's just where my mind is sometimes. But yeah, I'm just going to leave that to be spoken for on your behalf. So, do I have anything else to say about it? No. I say if you're on the fence about it, once it's available for order, get it ordered. Buy it and enjoy it. Was it a repetitive build? No, not really. I mean, yeah, you do have to build the legs, same technique twice, the arms, same technique twice, and then the hands and all of that. But I don't know if it's getting easier as I'm doing more figures, but for this model, it didn't seem all that daunting. The only thing daunting was to get this video out on the 4th for you guys to watch. But that was me, not it. So with that, guys, I don't have any more to say. Check it out if you do not have it ordered. Try to get it ordered. You're going to enjoy this model. It is the perfect size for any shelf, nightstand, table, platform, whatever. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider hitting the subscribe button to follow along with everything that we do here. As usual, share the video with a friend, hit the thumbs up, the like button, and most importantly, drop your comments down below. Have you built this guy? Are you stuck on the pre-order or the back order, or whatever I mean to say? Or are you waiting to build it? Is there any questions I can answer? Just fire away in the comment section. In my opinion, we already have the best set of 2026. And with that, very bold and very premature declaration, we will see you back with the Shopping Street Modular Building review video in just a few days. Thank you so much for watching. You all have a good one.